So first question off the bat, the Grayzone Warfare absolutely blowing up. What are your guys' kind of reactions to that? Is this where you were expecting it to go? Is it completely smashed your expectations? How are we feeling at Madfinger?
Yeah. So the great part is, you have around 70-ish people's opinions about what they think's going to happen. And on my end, yeah, we're blown away. Like even though you think, yeah, like I was thinking we are going to hit it out of the park because I felt like the excitement was there for it. I felt like the creators we've been working with since day one have been really supportive, and they've been still to this day playing a lot of the game. And so I really did think it was going to take off pretty solid. Did I expect, at this point in time, over 600,000 sales? I don't think I even expected that. And I had some of the highest expectations. We had others that were a little just nervous because it was their first PC game. And, you can try and think, oh, yeah, maybe we'll get so many copies sold in a few days to a week or whatnot. And I don't even think we've officially hit 1 week yet.
No,
And it's
30th to, so what's it been, like 4 or 5 days or something, I think?
5 or 6, but either
Yeah.
way, the point is like it's clearly exceeded
Mm.
expectations, and we realize there's still a lot of work to do, but we're very happy with the start.
Yeah, and you kind
Yeah.
of answered one of my questions there anyway, because I was going to sort of dip in, and I think the last update on the sales numbers was about 500,000 on the 3rd, so we're over 600. We've peaked over 600,000 now, and still going strong. So yeah, this is
Yeah,
really
we're
good.
getting closer to 700.
Oh
So
wow, yeah. So really gathering, because I saw the player counts on Steam and stuff, and obviously, when weekends come around, that stuff rises anyway after a game is launched. But it
of
looks
course,
so strong, and on streaming platforms, content platforms. I'm scrolling through TikTok, and it's just live after live after live of Grayzone Warfare, and same with Twitch. I think the day it came out, I think it was easily sitting at around 150, 170,000 viewers,
yep,
which is crazy. It's complete takeover, which is absolutely fantastic. And I mean, I've got hands on with it. I've put hours
yeah,
upon hours into it, and I'm just so blown away with just the most basic fundamentals. Just exploring. I'm just walking around Lamang. I'm just
yeah, sure,
just discovering points of interest. And I've got a thing when I play open world games. I like to go. So, for example, Assassin's Creed. I will go and get all the synchronization points. In Grayzone Warfare, what I'm doing is unlocking all the LZs. So I'm just walking around the whole map, just picking
yes,
up all of the LZs, so that when I need them,
yes,
I can just fly to them and they're there, which is
yes,
great. So, but that just even the basic stuff, the freedom is just flawless. Um, but obviously there were a few teething issues. It's an
yep,
alpha. We expect that. I expect that. That's no problem with me. But there were a few difficulties that you guys had, and that you're obviously fixing. You've been so on it. This is going to be the third hot fix, I think, since it came out. So
correct.
so they're
Third one.
rolling out. They're pretty quick. So what are the things that kind of hit your radar? The most important things, because I know the performance related stuff. A lot of people had issues with how
Yep.
is it not running on my GPU, so on and so on. There was a lot of that. I
Yeah,
guess that's the biggest sticking point for you guys right now, right?
it is one of them, and it's because Unreal Engine 5, it's still a work in progress for so many developers because you're not just using your engine, Unreal Engine 5, you're using your own engine too.
Hmm.
So communicating together, the GPU, I mean, that's, working with older PCs, trying to get this available to as many people as
Hmm.
possible. And yet at the same time, yeah, sure, we can. It is true that some are trying to play the game and they probably need to upgrade their equipment a little bit, but we are working on this. There's definitely been some crashes we're not happy with, especially when players will lose their items. Some,
Hmm.
the idea is that you actually keep your, like, if that were to happen, you should be keeping your gear. So we have to, the head glitch is one of the fun ones, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
And of course, the missing items glitch. These are very, very important things we're working on. And it's, I will say though, backing up going into launch, the two priorities were optimization and stabilization. Optimization is performance, FPS,
Hmm.
making sure it's smooth, the least amount of drops as possible, and of course the servers to maintain, which we've had a little difficulty in Asia, South America, I think Western or Eastern sometimes with the servers. So these are the things that we're tackling right now, and we hope to have a hot fix as early as tomorrow for the missing head glitch. and the missing items. But we will see what's actually being tested. We have a public beta testing with our community in Discord, who will test it out before it goes live.
Yeah, because I know that. I mean, I was disappointed to see that there were people trying to strike it down at launch with, running straight to Steam with like 0.1 hours playtime and whatever. And this is so badly also, and you're going to get it with every game, right? But it was disappointing. I think I speak from maybe not like a biased perspective, but I was in the camp that you were referring to. I did have to upgrade. I was in the market for it anyway, but this was the inspiration to upgrade. So I've had a fantastic experience, and I think, I've been putting up screenshots, for example, on Twitter, and people are coming back saying this looks absolutely incredible, this looks stunning, looks amazing, and it does, on the surface and beyond, it's absolutely fantastic. So there's obviously a lot in the pipeline. There's a lot planned. I think some things have been kind of lobbied around for further down the line, such as console release, controller support, things like that. What is next in the roadmap for you guys? What are like the big things that you want to deliver going forward in like the short term?
Yeah, well, the short term, the first things are the biggest ones we just talked about, which is performance, optimization, stabilization, like that needs to be there. And we have a roadmap of things we want to implement. For example, day-night cycle, which is now, with all the time you put into the game, imagine that day and night cycle, night vision, a lot of fun aspects of the game that would, I won't say feel like a completely new game, but kind of gives you different strategies and elements, and the PvP would be kind of wild, right? And then weather dynamics, like crafting, we want to do a lot of things, but we are really focused on like, how can we bring that big patch? We have a patch that's hopefully can fix a couple hundred things if possible. Like, so that's really what our focus is. Like, we don't want to see people crashing when they have a good PC, especially, right? So that's kind of a boring answer, but it's the truth. Like, we are so focused on that. It's like we see all these sales and we're like, yeah, for like 2 minutes, and then it's back to work. So we're not really like celebrating much. We're not, going out there and just like everyone's like taking off now that the game is out. No, they're working just as hard. How about this one? Backing up a little bit. The head glitch happened because the guy who's literally works, I think, 2 days straight without sleep, trying to get the servers ready, was doing some programming and actually created that bug by mistake with the head. But like, you'll never see that end. And like, that's why I like bringing these stories in, because he felt terrible. And I'm like, you know what? Obviously, people don't, it's not everyone likes the missing head glitch for sure. But this guy did an incredible job. There's like almost a movie could be written of just not trying to make it over dramatic, but how he got things in order with his team, and to be able to have the best experience that we could give in the beginning. So with that said, and even with the success, and with that, we are working on a roadmap that we hope to disclose soon, because there is a lot of fun content. Like, people don't even know what is the middle of the map yet. Right? What is going to happen there? What are we going to add to that?
What is it? The incident or the event or whatever it's referred to as? I think it's the event.
Events, yes. Yes. Where the population was evacuated and there was something that happened at ground zero. People call it the gray zone. That is not the gray zone. Gray zone warfare is a concept. It's the ground zero that's gonna, that's what we haven't talked about yet. And there is so many other things that will come that will shape and evolve with gray zone, because the game is only around 20 to 30% done. But if people are like, well, Rick, at least give us one thing, and that's the one thing I can at least say is day and night cycle should come soon. But we really need to make sure we get this game running a little bit better, for the masses.
Absolutely. And I guess now that it's out there in the world, you guys have taken on board community feedback and stuff. Because one of the things that I see people talking about is, and it's something that I was thinking too, the amount of things to loot and ways to make money. I think I saw someone complaining about you only really make money from tasking, and there's not really anything to find and then sell to the vendors and such. So is that kind of on the cards to put a few more items around? And
yes, but the one thing, if I have the right person, lost 150 grand because of a crash.
That's the guy I was referring to. Yeah,
that's not a broken economy. That's an error that's a bug in the system or a problem that, if we didn't have that crash, he wouldn't have lost it. So then at the same time, I was talking to another creator who actually is making a guide on money because not to spoil it or ruin it for the person, but they've made so much they don't know what to do with all of it. So it's more about how you play. Plus, there are some areas that I won't give away that you can get some really good, gear and make some money and this sort of thing. But
I think I know where you're referring to. I'm not going to say anything either, but I think I know.
yeah, and so I think that when people start finding these other ways, they're like, oh yeah, you can do that this way or that way. But we are constantly working on okay, let's put it this way. We're going to be implementing stuff into our game no matter what. Like even if the community said, no, you shouldn't focus on ground zero, we're going to have ground zero going because it's our game.
Yeah.
We have a vision. However, as far as the community feedback, like some things we clearly had to do, because let's be real, with a team of 70, it's weird. I love this knife, and I know it sounds weird. I'm bringing this into the interview, but I keep playing with it, and it's probably kind of weird that I'm doing that. But
that's fine. I'm not feeling threatened or anything. It's fine.
This is virtual.
What do I have? I have a bat somewhere, so we can just sit here, just teeing off. No, we're good. We're good.
I use it to cut open boxes. Probably not. Whatever.
It's on theme. It's on theme.
Yeah, on theme. Yeah. So the community feedback is very important. Like for example, even with the LZ camping and stuff, we have I was at the studio, and when you go there, you can see everyone in their departments, and you have the QA team, and you're looking at just a handful. So whereas you might find studios that have 20 or 30 or 40 QA, right? So we knew that the bulk of the finding out what we're going to need to change is based on the community. So yeah, of course, this is a lot of feedback will be based off of what we are seeing. Like the lead writer was asking, hey, there was 2 guys, I believe, that completed 133 tasks.
Yeah.
And even though we have slightly over 150, you might not get to 150 depending on the choices you make, because different quests open up different branches, and that counts as a quest. But if you choose something with one vendor over another, you might not get to that 150, or maybe you're slightly over. The point is, we want to hear the feedback. We want to hear what else can we implement into these quests, keeping people playing. Of course, I was going back to, I said the LZ camping, we did actually work on, okay, yes, you should be able to shoot from the heli. We gave 5 seconds of invulnerability. Okay. I don't know if you noticed that. But
I've been fortunate. I haven't been attacked at LZs yet, but that's good. That's good to hear, yeah.
Well, once you get off the little bird, you have 5 seconds to get behind some cover.
Okay.
But so we have this balance. We don't want to take away LZ camping completely because we want you to consider your every move. There are going to be times where it's like, hey, look, this is why in the beginning, that's my strategy is first get acclimated with the onboarding area, get a feel of the game. And then I kind of like to go off the beaten path and to hit those LZs. That's what I like to do, and be tactful, slow, methodical. Because for me, I like to play it different. I like to play more of the the PvE, but get that PvP in every now and then.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the sandbox. So we're going to see how else we can implement community feedback over time, but we need to let the dust settle because it hasn't settled yet. It hasn't been out for a week. But I think there's going to be other things that the community will be happy with over time that we do that's going to be based on their feedback, because I have one of our community managers, that's all he does all day. That's Devil Dog. Yeah. He gets videos and says, hey, look, this is how we can make the game better. And it's literally based off of the community's feedback. And to be even more clear, we literally have a different report for creator feedback because it's not the same. Creators do not play it the way that most people do, right? They're playing 10, 12-hour days, especially the full-time one. Yeah. And some of them are more this focused or that focused. So we have to separate the two and then find a good balance.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm exactly the same as you. When I was playing, I think I geared up with my M700 suppressed, and I was going around point and point. And if I saw something on the map that looked like a POI, I'm scoping it out. And I came across the I can't remember the acronym. They're the guys. They're slightly more organized. He had one of the is it the CQ? I don't know what it was, but I thought I was fighting like a boss or something, and these guys were coming on pretty hard. But I still, picking them off with a sniper rifle at long range and making my way around the map. I love playing like that. That's absolutely fantastic. But it's good, the community-driven stuff is great. Because I think that is so pivotal to an early access game, isn't it? To see how everyone's taking it all their different strides, which is fantastic. One of the things you guys addressed was the the inability to change factions. You guys patched that really
Yeah,
quick,
that was a
which
big
was
one too. Yeah,
fantastic. I think a lot
yeah.
of people, there was a lot of call for that, and that was answered so fast. And that's kind of my next question, is talking about that. That's like a manual wipe. I'm curious to know if you guys have any scope on scheduled wipes, like what kind of format you're looking at going
Yeah.
forwards.
That's a good question. I mean, actually, I'm surprised I thought of the LZ camping one before that one, because that wipe one was 100% pure feedback.
Yeah.
Because we had in our in-game menu that we would you'd be able to change your faction every 3 months,
Okay.
but do a wipe every 6.
Right. Okay.
Now I'm trying
Like
to remember.
manual, sorry, like you'd be able to manually wipe every 6 months, or it'd be a triggered thing.
The Not a manual wipe. No, this would be more of a triggered thing. So honestly, we're still working out like how that's going to work out, because we do need to let the dust settle. So yes, a lot of our decisions are going to be based on what the community is doing. We are going to see, okay, maybe a longer cooldown for manual wipes of your faction. We have to consider like what is worth doing a wipe with our game, because it is gray zone warfare is gray zone warfare. If we do wipes, you get hints of other games. To be honest, it doesn't matter what they're doing. Our game is different. Our game is different because you have the PvE and then the PvEvP separate, and yet the progression is shared. So we're going to figure out what the best balance is, and that's going to be purely based off of how we see the community playing.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think you segue nicely into the next question I have there, talking about what other people are doing. So another thing that's kind of on my mind, and I think on the mind of some others, is looking at microtransactions. Are there any plans to do anything such as expansions, cosmetics, special packs, and you're not paywalling anything straight off the bat, but are there plans down the line to maybe fuse a little that into the operating model?
So let's put it this way. For starters, we said from the beginning that we're not going to do microtransactions like in the way you would normally look at it. If we do, and we do something with cosmetics, the boss wants to do 100% donations.
Okay.
Like 100, like donate to charities. He does not.
Nice.
This is not going to be for the profit of the company, and he really has a heart. Even for children in Ukraine, he wants to do it. People were then actually worried about us, like we didn't know how to operate our business, and say, "Oh, how are you going to make money?" And it's like, don't worry, guys. This game is only 20-30% done, so the prices of the game is not always going to be the same.
Yeah.
Of course, sometimes we'll do a sale, but as the game gets better, we might change the packages, the pricing on these, because if we're adding that much more in, it becomes, the closer we get to version 1.0, obviously, then, that's when you could see an increase in price, because you're going to get a lot more value. Right now, we feel like it's a very fair price. Honestly, it is an incredibly fair, I'll be bold to say it, an incredibly fair price, because anytime, so right now, the guy who finished, two guys did actually, they both happen to do 133 quests. They're also friends, so they probably chose the same route, right?
Yeah.
They put in around 150 to 160 hours.
Wow.
Any developer,
yeah,
if you ask them, if someone puts 100 hours into your game, is that considered a success? There is not one developer that would say no.
Yeah.
Not one.
Definitely.
So in order to complete all these quests, you're going to have to put in over 100 hours.
Because that's something I was wondering too, because I've been making my way through the tasks and stuff, and it's one of those things where I was getting stuck on a couple of them, because the first few you walk through, they say go to this tile, it's right here, and you can't really fail. And then I think I was streaming when I did it. I was like, wow, this is kind of easy. Like this is good. It's walking me through it. I've got attack map. I know exactly where to go. And then I got the ones after that, and I was like, and it was like search for signs of X body or something.
Yeah, no coordinates this time.
And I straight away was like, how do I do that? So I'll admit there were a couple where I was like, let me just look for a guide. But because the game is so new, not everything has a guide yet, Yep. So I was like, when does it end? How many quests are there? How far is it going to take me? And I had no idea. So that's really good information to know, that there are that many quests and there's that much playtime, because I didn't know it would be, I'll be honest, even half of that. That's incredible.
Yeah, I can tell you that if people do it in less than 100 hours, it's probably because they've received help. So even if they didn't look at a guide, they might have asked someone for intel, and I will say that, even these tasks, they'll be up for some tweaking and whatnot, but, yeah, sure. I would say, because people then ask, well, what do you do after the quest? And that's part of the sandbox. There's some people that they'll play some PvP, but then they might move on, which is understandable till we have something else. I get it.
Yeah, that's
but
the cycle. Yeah.
If you like the sandbox and making up your own scenarios, you can play it forever. And that's how I like playing games personally. I used to play Grand Theft Auto, and we'd create our own scenarios in a sandbox world. It's the same thing you can do in our game as you could do like in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful part of a sandbox game. You do not have to play it like a mill sim. You can try and play like a run and gun. You won't get very far in our game. That's for sure.
I found that. Yeah.
It's still a hardcore tactical shooter. It still is. It's just more approachable. We've made it more approachable, And now with the additions we've also had to make, because the community obviously made it loud and clear about the bases, with the mortars and the AI respawning faster, it's not that easy to camp a base.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think that kind of opens up a question that I didn't have pre-planned, but it's like
go for it.
Kind of considering the what would you refer to them as, like the RP kind of community. You get a lot of people that they want to play this game as an absolute mill sim. Is there potential down the line for like private hosting, private servers, for people to come on and tweak it a little bit, or maybe like modify it in some way so they can play this RP in the world you've created?
I would say down the line, we've already talked about it. I'm a big proponent. Like, I definitely would love to see that. I'm always thinking of ways how we can extend the value of a game. And this goes back to me playing tactical shooters like Graw and the options and having a private, I love that stuff. Now, it does cost some money, some cash. And, right now, every penny we get, we put back into the game because there's a lot more to do. And when there's a lot more to do, it means you have to keep paying the people to keep doing the work. So we definitely do want to get to that point. I think it would be cool, but it's probably farther down the road.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I did have a question on kind of a touchy subject, a sensitive subject.
Go for it.
I have seen online some references to creators being approached by cheat providers, talking about, hey, can you advertise our stuff on the sly and we'll pay you for it. That I feel these days is inevitable if you're making any kind of multiplayer product. So are you guys fully braced and ready to kind of face that onslaught as grayzone becomes more popular?
I'll tell you what, we do have measures in place, and we don't care to talk about it all that much, because
don't disclose that stuff. Yeah.
Well, it's also because it's true. The truth is, it's still all work in progress type stuff. But yeah, we do have countermeasures. We are aware. In fact, whenever someone tells us, we already know.
Okay.
Our community managers are hawks, and we have a lot of people that keep us posted. We communicate a ton. There's no question. We communicate a ton with the community. We have chats for the community. We have chats for creators. Like, they're keeping us in the loop and letting us know. I saw that exact email from a creator and what they're trying to do. And, they're doing this with any game, right? And of course, with a game when it's popular, even more so, because it's all about money. People are like, why would they do this? Because they make money. They sell the codes. There's an agenda behind it. It's not just trying to screw with people. It's all about money, always. So we're very aware of the situation, and we're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think one last question I had on the list before we wrap, which might be obvious, but I was curious from like a development perspective. So this is it for Madfinger for the foreseeable. I'd imagine you guys have got 100% of your attention devoted to this game. There's nothing else cooking over at Madfinger. This is it for you guys now, isn't it?
Yeah, I can be pretty confident about and say that, because we don't have a big team for the scope and the size of the game we're making. And sometimes when you think you have enough people, then as the vision goes for the game and you talk about the plans and the scope of the game, you're like, wow, we need this game to do well. We need to then hire more people. That's what we're doing. We're trying to get more people to help us work on, whether it's servers, optimization, performance. Like, there's a lot, and we can't devote that to another game. We don't want to. We really want to focus on Grayzone, and that's it, because Grayzone is here for the foreseeable future. before Grayzone Warfare goes into version 1.0, could be 3, 4, 5 years plus. I mean, we need to make sure we get this game right, and there's no time to do anything else. And like I said, you know, I can't wait to see these other features come in. Like when we start seeing, like, you know, the day and night cycle, the weather dynamics, the camps being added, more points of interest in battling for 4 different camps where you can also store your gear and control, with the AI becoming smarter, and even the factions like doing their own little tests, or even AI factions trying to take over the camp that you have. There's a lot more we're going to be adding in.
I think I saw, because I was in, I think it was Tiger Bay, and there was like combat, and I was like, oh wow, this sounds like there's an absolute war brawling in Tiger Bay. And I went in really stealthy, like expecting to come across like a massive force of PMCs, and the AI was shooting at each other, and they were having like their own little fight, and I was like, that just completely. I got in the middle of it. I got peppered, but I got in the middle of it, and I was like, they were just. And I didn't expect that. I don't know. I thought I was going so carefully, thinking there was going to be an absolute gang. But just I see them tearing chunks out of each other. I didn't know that was going to be a thing. But that is, I mean, that's great. I mean, I've said time and again, I'm invested. I'm in it for the long run. I think even for an alpha, especially when I'm playing and I'm running around Lamang and I'm getting in these fights and you know, the PvP, and I'm in and out of the camp. Like, I think when I was streaming, one of the things that I professed my love for was just the real-time element of getting in the chopper, flying to your LZ, doing your business, excuse me, getting back in the chopper in real time, flying back. And it's just so immersive. It's unbelievable. I'm losing hours in this. Well, not losing, because they're very well spent, but hours and hours. I'll be walking from point to point, and I'm not even like begrudging the journey. I'm so excited to see what's at my destination, you know. I'm fully on board. I'm a supporter officially. I have that edition, so I'm so eager to see what you guys think. I think this is an absolute. This is a gem. This is a real diamond of a title, and I can't wait to see where you guys go with this.
No, thank you very much. You know, like I said, these guys, we don't have a lot of time to celebrate. We're very happy with the direction, but they are grinding. We are grinding away to make it an even better experience. So stay tuned, you know.